This movie is a great reminder that paradise is not a panacea for Payne. Just because you're in Hawaii doesn't mean all your problems are going to be solved. Everything is going to be great. And you're going to have to do some work to get through this thing called life. I just watched The Descendants for the first time, and I want to talk about it. All right, like always, we start with the premise, and we'll see if I can sum this bad boy up. There might be some spoilers in this, in the way I kind of explain some things. I'm assuming you've seen the movie, so let me go ahead and say that out front. So The Descendants follows George Clooney's family, middle-aged man, wife. From the first scene, she's in a coma. Essentially, he's not really been active as a father. He's got two daughters. One is kind of rebellious. She's away at a boarding school for behavioral reasons, I assume. A younger daughter who's really not sure what's going on and just kind of walking through life and needing some guidance on how to deal with this situation. And then in the midst of that, we find out that the wife in the coma has been unfaithful to George Clooney. So he's dealing with that without being able to confront her directly. How to navigate telling the person that his wife had an affair with that she's in a coma, all these sorts of things, while there's a big real estate play in motion. George Clooney's a lawyer. His family descends from Hawaiian royalty. There's a lot of cousins, and they own this big plot of land that is potentially going to be developed into homes and a big resort and that sort of thing on an island that's more secluded, but is developing. And he's getting pressure from the locals, his family, all these things while he's dealing with this major life crisis. Now let's get familiar with the players. First, we have George Clooney as Matt King, the patriarch of this family. It's not our typical Clooney. He's not suave. He's not charming the pants off of everyone. He's still charming. He's still George Clooney, but he's quiet. He's emotionally reserved. He's never overreacting to things that happen to him in this movie. It's really, really grounded, really stoic in his approach. I think he and Shailene Woodley, who I'll talk about in a second, actually carry this movie. I'm not sure if it works on the level it works without those two, but this is just a unique, clean, well-done performance by Clooney in this movie. Next is Shailene Woodley as the daughter, Alex. She is introduced misbehaving at boarding school. She's already had some issues. She's got more issues, but she's dealing with a lot of things within this family dynamic that are explained to us later on. When she is the one who noticed that her mother is cheating on her father first, she lashes out. She is teen angst personified. Well, she is a person, but she does it perfectly. And it's no wonder that she got the Divergent movies off of this. If I needed a strong-willed, headstrong teen to lead a group of people through, I forget what the Divergent movies are all about, but I would have probably picked Shailene at this time had I seen The Descendants as well. And there's a great supporting cast in this movie, but I think George and Shailene really carry it. As I mentioned before, Matthew Lillard does a great job as the other man, especially when George's character comes to confront him and let him know that his wife is in the hospital. Matthew Lillard is really focused on his family and what he might lose based on this bad decision. He plays that really well. And then also I want to shout out the person who played George Clooney's wife in the coma the whole time. Imagine you get to be George Clooney's wife in a movie, but then you're just in a coma. And I think it's one of the only things she's been in. I don't even know her name, but I'll throw a photo of her up here. Next, we're jumping into the palette, which I'm calling the direction and cinematography. I was pleased to find out this was a Alexander Payne movie, since I really loved The Holdovers. And even going back to Sideways, I remember Sideways being a huge deal when it came out, and I really do enjoy that movie. Great performances in that, really grounded. But also Payne Papamichael, who I just talked about in a previous review that I did, and you can find it on the channel, about 310 to Yuma, was the cinematographer for both of these movies. I did not realize that. And I don't think I really noticed a lot of crossover for Payne Papamichael in this movie and 310 to Yuma to where I could have maybe spotted that, but very interesting. I think one of the best directing or cinematography choices made is really the opening sequence. We are expecting a movie set in Hawaii, and when you see that, you see verdant, green-covered cliffs, rolling waves, people surfing, hanging out, having a good time. We don't see that in this opening sequence. We see bustling streets, cityscapes that seem unending, people down on their luck. It's the opposite of paradise, and you can see how the hell of Matt King's life could unfurl in this place where you might have had another idea when you started the movie. So I think that level setting decision is one of the best in the movie. Otherwise, I think it's just shot pretty clean, pretty straightforward. There's a lot of natural light. I think there is one great scene where Shailene Woodley is kind of letting her grief out in a pool once her father tells her that the mother is not going to survive and they're going to be pulling the plug soon, and they need to get the family together to go and see her one final time. She goes underwater. It's quiet. You see her reaction. A really nice moment. Now that we've covered the direction and cinematography, that leads us nicely into the postcard, which is maybe what I think is the best frame in the film, or maybe the image that encapsulates what the movie is about. So I'm going for this one right here of the King family on the couch at the end of the movie. Everything is summed up. These people have been through a lot. They are now bonded. You might say trauma bonded, but they're closer than ever. Matt King, George Clooney's character at the start of the movie, didn't even know how to pick up his daughter from school, didn't know how to deal with conflict with, between friends of the younger daughter, really didn't have any handle on how to handle Shailene Woodley's character. But now there's kind of a quiet understanding between them. They've been through this terrible thing. They were there for each other. They confronted their mom's lover together. All kinds of crazy things happen. And in the end, they pull through together. And I think that's really beautiful. Next, we're going to look at the philosophy, which I think is the main theme or themes of the movie. A big one here, I think, is grief and acceptance. This whole movie is a storm of grief and then a beautiful acceptance at the end. There's grief with the mother being in the hospital, the grief of maybe disappointing family on your real estate decisions. There's the grief of finding out your wife has been cheating and trying to do the right thing. There's the grief of realizing your daughters aren't going to have a mother, and then maybe that they'll have this bad memory of their mother because of what is happening when it's happening. She happens to be in the coma. There's really no resolution to some of those feelings. So I think that's a huge part of this movie, and it's really interesting to think through as you're watching it, or as the days go. I'll probably keep thinking about some of those things. I think another wonderful theme of this movie is forgiveness as healing. It would have been easy for Matt King to be mad at his wife forever for cheating on him. It would have been easy for him to be scorned and maybe try to go fight Matthew Lillard's character instead of letting him know that his wife was in the hospital, and if he wanted to see her one last time, that would be the time to go. He doesn't end up going because he doesn't love her. That's painful. That's terrible. So it was all for naught, really. It was just to have a little fun. So there's, also the forgiveness of the daughters, being able to forgive their mother, I think is a hard thing to set up once you have her in a coma and you can't work through some of the issues. But you see in the end, forgiveness is letting go. Forgiveness is growth. And it's how this family is able to stay together and move forward. Next, let's talk about the parallels. I think the biggest parallel, which I'm using as the symbolism for me, is the land trust, or the land that this family has, the contract, moving through it. It binds them all together. The past binds everyone together. My past, your past. We're bound by things that have happened to us, happened to our family. It impacts our next decisions, our next moves, what our life might look like. Leading up to this point, life has been good for Matt King and his cousins. They've lived off this land. It might become a point of contention, a point of pain moving forward. Maybe it drives the family apart, but I think this reminder, using the land trust and the land contracts as that family connection, what happens in the past does impact us, does bring us together, and does shape who we are. All right, the pivotal scene. This is sometimes going to be the climax. A lot of times going to be what I think the best scene is. For me, in The Descendants, it is what stood out to me the most, or what I still think about. It is that scene with Shailene Woodley going underwater to express her grief. It's beautifully shot. It also is a reminder that Matt King is not good at this parenthood thing yet. He picks this moment, and she gets mad at him for it. where she's in the pool to tell her that her mother is not going to be making it out of this coma. And she's instantly upset that he told her in the pool. And it might seem like a flippant thing, but she could never go in that pool again, I think, without remembering that moment, without knowing that's when she knew her mother was going to die. I just think it's a really emotionally raw scene, and it is really stood out to me. And now let's discuss the problem or the problems I have with The Descendants. This section is where I go over any qualms I have with the movie. I think the main thing with this movie is it's pretty straight drama, and you have to be in the mood for that, and it might be a one-time watch. I'm not sure yet. Maybe if I lose somebody or am feeling grief, I would put it on again. But I think once you've seen The Descendants, you've kind of seen it. I think that's the main problem with it. It's not a problem. It's a good movie. I enjoyed the movie. It's well shot, but I think once you get through it, you've kind of lived that story, if that makes sense. So what's my perspective, my final take, my rating on The Descendants? I think The Descendants is a solid 3-star movie. I'm glad I watched it. I didn't waste my time. If I think you like this type of movie, you like George Clooney, I would say go ahead and watch it. If you like Alexander Payne as a director, I think it's great to watch kind of his progression. You can really see the bones of the holdovers in this movie, I think. It's quiet confidence. It's emotionally honest. So solid 3 stars for The Descendants. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's not going to hurt you. Good news as we enter the now playing segment of the review. The Descendants is streaming as of the posting date of this post. It's on HBO Max. So if you don't have a $3 Ohio thrift store copy of the DVD, you can check it out on HBO Max, and I would go ahead and recommend you do that. Lastly, I want to remind you all to check out the Patreon, where I'm doing just a flat fee for everything. Early access, ad-free content if we get to that level, member shout-outs, help me pick movies to watch, that sort of thing. So if you want to join the community, that's great. If you just want to follow my journey here, like, subscribe, do all those things, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.